Hello, everyone. Welcome to a nice special edition of Across the Pond. I am your host extraordinaire, I said Jumpin' Jack. I was just going to say that. No, Scratchin' Jack. That's who I am. And today we have a special guest, and we have a show that I would hope that would tell you all about resin kits. So let's, without any further ado, because I don't have my script in front of me, let's start with Andy. How you doing, Andy?
I'm alright, everybody. How you doing?
Doing good. And how you doing, Aries? What you up to?
Oh, just sitting here, building a big Mustang and watching you guys.
Andy's from the UK, Aries from Canada, and of course, I think Michigan's a foreign country, I believe. How you doing, Jay?
Oh, it is lately. I'm doing good. I've started work on the Defiant, so I've got some parts for you that have been rebuilt.
Oh, very good. I appreciate it. Thank you. And how you doing, Phil?
Excellent. Thank you. And you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. And of course, we quickly move on to our star of the show. That would be Neil Wooding, and he is representing his company, Wild House Models. And I want to say that what you're doing today, Neil, and with Wild House is very exciting. I'm actually kind of jealous, and I think I can speak for partial of the crew here that being so involved in models, actually creating kits and selling them, it's great. I think it's awesome. It's awesome.
Hey,
so tell me.
I kind of. Sorry?
Go ahead.
I was going to say that I've been looking at kind of model kits for a while, and part of me enjoys engineering, right? Even though I'm not an engineer. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of wanted to just do something with, rather than just look and build other models. And, I've been enjoying the scratch build stuff for a while. But I just felt like, doing something interesting. So I was at a convenient point in my life, and I just decided to, spend a bit of money and give it a go. So that's really what Wild House came out of, really.
Tell me, was the first model? Do you remember the first model you ever built?
Yeah, it was. It was the DS9 station.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was a real nasty build. I just. I couldn't get it to build. I didn't have an airbrush, so I dry brushed it. I was a 16-year-old, So when it first came out, I just wanted that, and I got a runabout as well, and I kind of enjoyed the runabout. But the DS9 was my bane. I hated it, So.
In comparison to the kit, the first Stasis pod, you made a tremendous amount of improvements.
Yeah. Age and wisdom, mate. Age and wisdom.
So what? I mean, tell us about the why Hostile Realms. It's a completely new fictional universe.
Yeah. So I guess what there was a few of us. I mean, myself, Liam, Dylan, Bill Tate, Bernie, and a few others were chatting, and really I started bouncing ideas off the guys. After some of the Amazing Plastic kind of hangouts, and really was trying to get an idea of what people would enjoy to build. And I love looking at various websites and getting ideas and looking at stuff that artists have produced. And I thought, I wanted to build a kit, and I realized that there might be some issues with licensing and some difficulties. I know people are producing kind of resin kits, but there's for me, it was like if I was going to do this as a business, I felt that I needed something that wouldn't be at conflict, really, with somebody else's, TV or film license. So that's really where Hostile Realms came from. I used to do kind of Star Trek play-by-mail and, really just kind of create universes as you go along kind of thing. So for me, it was part and parcel of what I did. And started writing the storyline for it. It's loosely based on ideas from Aliens and from Star Trek and everything else. It's not new. I wouldn't say it's new, but having watched so many movies and TV shows over the years, it's given me an opportunity to kind of, plagiarize a few ideas, shall I say. I won't say I've outrightly stolen them, but,
Do you need a ghostwriter for your first novels? I'd be happy to write some novels.
we were going to produce a comic at one point, which we never got around to, but what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks is also just fleshing out the ideas a bit more. We've got a survey running on the website at the moment, and it's been interesting to kind of find out what really people are looking for in the type of kits. We felt that people wanted more figures and more kind of ships, and actually people want military vessels and attack vessels and things, and it's been really curious to see some of the results from people that have been kind of saying where we should go. So for me, it's like I'm making a kit for you guys, right? I'm not making it for me. I made this first one for me, but if I want to make this a business, I'm making it for you guys. So I need to understand from you what you want me to build.
Okay.
So,
All right, then. I think I asked pretty much, got it all started, and I want to welcome Randall. Just showed in. He's in the UK as
Hi,
well.
Jack.
We're keeping in touch with the across the pond theme here, as you see. How you doing, Randall?
Not too bad, Jack. Had a bit of fun getting in there, but I finally got here.
Yes, very good. I'm glad that you were able to make it. We're talking about Wild House models and what Neil Wooding is doing on his spare time between kids and career.
Yeah, between my full-time job and my kids and everything else, yeah.
Right. it's in here somewhere in there. And we also have Lil Dimaso showing up from Aztec Dummy. He can speak from experience of starting something new. And today it's all yours. You guys take it over now. What do you want to ask him? I asked him what I wanted.
Yeah, I just had something to say, Neil. There's an old saying when it comes to all the stuff. Remember this: plagiarize, 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 but make sure you call it research.
Yeah. We had some issues with the original design. I mean, we kind of started investing in some 3D models that were out there and trying to play around with them, but we had to revisit them. We had to go back to the drawing board, because the way that we wanted to produce this kit, for me, I love the opportunity to create something in 3D, right, using 3D printing. And some of the models out there aren't really suitable, so we had to kind of, fortunately, a very good friend of mine who is, a professional CAD modeler, and he's freelance now. So he was the one that actually kind of started to help me create this into a model that could be scaled at any size. I mean, that's the beauty of the CAD model that we've kind of spent time. So we spent about 6 weeks putting this model together. So it allows us. I mean, we've got people asking us for 1/6 scale models now. 1/72. Somebody wants a 1/72 scale. So.
Wow.
So
I want a 1:1 scale that actually works.
He
Well,
said
actually,
he's not an engineer.
The level of detail we put in there, it technically is roughly 1:1 scale. I mean, we've kind of, apart from the thicknesses of the walls and things, we could do a 1:1 scale if we chose to. I mean, that's the beauty of the CAD model. So we took that to a 3D printing, and we went to some really high-end 3D printing. So rather than just a cheap 3D printer you got on your desk, we chose some high-end kit. This is a $100,000 machine, basically, that's got up in Cambridge University, and it was heavily subsidized. We didn't pay a lot of money for it, which is fantastic, in terms of the use and the but we labored over that original model there, and Jay, I can say that we kind of worked really hard to get that first idea done.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pushing that button was the most expensive part of the process for me, actually, because I realized if we got that model wrong, I'd have to revisit the whole thing from scratch.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen, one of the physical models in front of me, but I've seen a lot of photos, and I'm incredibly impressed. It's a beautiful model, and I'm really looking forward to see what else you're going to be coming up with, next, because I just totally amazed by the quality.
Yeah. I mean, we were. I was amazed because we contacted them a few days before Christmas. So of course, the Christmas holidays were coming up, and I got it the day after Boxing Day. So they took about 4 days to produce this, and the quality was just amazing. So there was, I was expecting to do days worth of sanding down and clean up and preparation, and I had to do probably a few hours of work. But then, you have to send it off. We've chosen not to produce the molds and the cast ourselves. I'm not the best molder in the world, so it's great for stuff that I can do myself, but I wasn't going to risk this. So we found a great company based up in Birmingham in the UK that do this for quite a few model companies. They were also the only ones that could do clear acrylic as well, so there's very few people that will do clear parts.
I'm screen sharing a photo that I was able to pick up off of your Google Plus community, Wildhouse Models, Google Plus.
Yeah, that's a bit of a render there. That's the render from the 3D stuff.
Oh, come on, you shouldn't have said that. That looks really good as a model build.
I am being honest here, guys, all right? So.
Yes, why don't you screen share some pictures about design and color and yes, and all that stuff.
I'm going to try and get PowerPoint up.
Well, while there's a lull here, Neil, I want to step in and say that what really impresses me beyond the quality of the model, of course, is the quality of your support material. The packaging, everything is 100% professional and top-notch, and nothing gives away an amateur production like really poor support materials.
Thank you.
I've seen lots of people who come up with great resin kit models, and then they slap it in a brown cardboard box and call it done.
Mm-hmm.
And it really speaks to the seriousness and the the thought really of what you're putting behind your product when you don't think that you're done just because you've come up with the parts.
Well, I know, for me, I'm actually a designer, right? In my old life,
sure.
I can't get my PowerPoint deck up now. But, anyone know how to do this?
Well, just navigate not on your screen, but on your window that you have screen shared.
Yeah, it's not letting me. So,
where's the go button?
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
I'll get there in a minute. Hang on a sec. So,
well, you know something? I'm going to speak for Lou. I'm going to speak for Lou here. When you come out with a spaceship, he'll do your masks.
Yeah, I will.
I as a designer, right? I trained as a designer. So for me, it's about the customer experience. When you first open something, or you first look at a book or a brochure or whatever, it's about that experience. So I really tried to put as much detail as I could into the leaflets and to the box. As I say, I mean, kind of. I didn't do the artwork. I hasten to add, there's a really good, talented kind of.
Right, but you understand the importance of the artwork.
Exactly. Because for me, if I was like, I did a bit of research as well. I went around the model shops and I looked at the kits and looked at kind of all the artwork that was on there, and it's all about, the photography. It's all about the artwork. You're going to buy something because you look at the box, not necessarily what's in the box. So I was really, really keen to ensure that when we printed stuff, it was to the best quality we could. And I had to spend ages on the decals and getting those produced. I think we could have produced more decals. I mean, personally, I think we could have produced a different set of decals, and I may do that later on. But when you're on it, and there was so many things on this project that you're worried about, kind of the cost you're spending, right? As a business,
Right.
you worry about all the money you're spending, and you start to get to that point, and you think, I really need to launch this. I need to make some money back on it. And you think, well, I got to labor over this side of it. This bit needs extra work, and it's like, no. The finances, the bank manager's knocking on the door.
Uh-huh.
And ultimately, it's like I just have to get this out. So yeah, there's probably a few things I would have done differently. But yeah.
Yeah, but to look at your product, though, you would not guess this was a company that has, basically just appeared. This is a company that's been around for 10, 15, 20 years. And that kind of gravitas translates into sales. I mean, people look at it and they say, these people know what they're doing.
Well, they're serious. They're at least very serious. Whether or not they know what they're doing, they're serious. I don't want to say anything bad like that, but you know what I'm saying. I know what Lou is saying. It's serious. It's saying we're here to stay. We're going to do our best, and this is what we have.
And more importantly, we stand behind our product.
Right. Exactly. And I was just screen sharing the article that was in the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Modelers magazine. How did that come about?
So I've made a bit of an effort to contact a few of the magazines and blogs and things directly, because I think, it's great one thing selling a kit and building a kit or whatever, but until actually people know it's out there, then
you have to market it.
I have to market it, right? So, this is my third company. I've run 2 IT consultancies, and I run one at the moment. This is my third business. So I had a computer games company. I've done software development. I've been aware that to selling to consumers. So for me, this is just an extension of my past history, right?
Right.
And I had to recognize that using the press and using the magazine. So I've contacted quite a few press. I've contacted a few guys directly, and people like Jack and Steve Neal and other guys as well that are kind of willing to take on the kit and build it and put it up on their video blogs. It's fantastic.
Get there, yeah.
So I spoke to them. They were really excited about it. Sent some pre-concept work. And in fact, the volume 35 of this magazine, I've got a 2,000-word article, and they're also doing a build blog for it as well. So volume 35 of the magazine is really interesting. That's coming out in autumn or fall for the Americans.
It's a fine publication.
Sorry?
That it's a fine publication.
It's great. I was telling Jack as well, we actually made some sales out of the back of the magazine already. So
that helps.
Some of I saw it and ordered it straight away. So.
Are you in contact with any of the U.S. web stores?
I spoke to quite a few. I've spoken to Federation Models. I've spoken to Cult TV Man.
Steve would be a good match, and John over at Starship Modeler would be a good match for this.
Yeah, I've reached out. Must admit, Lee, is it Steve at Cult TV? I can't remember.
Steve at Cult, and then John. John's over at Starship Modeler.
So Steve has said that he's not going to take it at the moment. I think he wants us to have a bit of a more range of kits. We've got another kit coming out towards the end of the year.
Well, he's twitchy about importing.
Exactly.
I think it's the import that's got him bugged. I mean, I can understand it.
So at the moment, I am doing that, and that's part of what I'm doing right now is reaching out. I've got a long list of websites, both here in the UK and out in the US, that I'm wanting to speak to about taking kits on. Mm-hmm. I have a 6-week lead time for getting new batch of parts, so I need, it's the retail market. It's something I've never dealt with before, and it's causing me a few headaches.
Well, yeah, maybe we can help you with that. I do have a long history in retail, and the new thing is internet retail. That's interesting. That's fascinating to me. Only because you don't have to go to a place. It could be anywhere. It could be any hole in the ground, and it's a retail store.
The only
Yeah.
thing bad about online sales or retail sales is, especially in the aftermarket kit business, is you had best be sure you can supply. When you say you've got a product available, you need to make sure it's on your shelf and available. People don't like when you are promising something that, oh yes, it's available in about 6 weeks. They want to know it's on the shelf somewhere and available.
Sure. Oh, sure. Sure.
And
So
I know exactly like that. Yeah.
they should be able to manipulate their website to put it on and off according to their, their.
Right, but I'm talking from a reseller point of view, where if you want to support an online shop and they say I need to get 10 or 20 of these from you, you better be sure you have them to sell to the stores right away, or they'll drop you like a hot rock.
Yeah. And so that is something I've been really hot on is making sure that if I'm saying I've got kits on the site, so I've got a shopping cart cut in for the site, so it allows me to manage my stock. So if somebody buys one, it takes off one of the numbers of stock, so I know exactly how much stock I've got and the boxes and everything here.
And how quickly you can turn around and restock to you from your manufacturer.
Yeah. So at the moment.
So what you're saying, Lou, is to have an inventory and not make the kit once you receive payment.
Exactly. Have an inventory, have as much stocked up as you can afford, but if I can understand not wanting to keep a bunch of stock on hand, but know your supplier, so where if you say, hey, I need an order in a week, he can get you an order in a week and not be sitting on waiting. Because the most frustrating thing in the world is waiting on a supplier down the chain to get you a part so that you can continue your business.
Exactly.
Right. What my irritation is with an online store is I order it and I'm not told if they're having a problem. If they're having a problem with their supplies, shoot me an email.
Right. Or your decal printer all of a sudden has broken their printer and they don't know when it's going to be fixed, and you don't have a second supplier lined up.
Oh yeah. Give me an ETA. Don't hide and keep me waiting.
Right. And it's like, I understand machines break down. I'm not going to take my business elsewhere, but I need to get this order filled today.
Oh, sure. No, I'm even talking from a customer standpoint. I'm not even talking from a supplier to a store.
Well, that affects the customer, because all of a sudden you're delaying your shipping because of something that isn't under your control.
Sure, but that's my point exactly. Is that people are much more understanding when they're kept in the loop of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just say, well, I'm sorry, I got your order, and I am fully intentional in filling it, but it will be filled in this amount of time because of the problems I'm having.
Yeah.
And by golly, if you say a time, you better damn well keep to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like you say, people are a lot more forgiving if they know. I mean, this is unprecedented. When I was a kid, you sent away for something, or you bought something in a store, and you didn't know who the hell made it. And you take what you get. Now you can actually talk to the people, like Neil. You talk to the people who are making the stuff, and it's like I say, it's unprecedented. We never had that kind of contact when I was a kid.
True. The producer is closer to the consumer. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. I must admit, Luke, that there has been one situation where I have had an issue with something that I've waited. I've sold a bunch of stuff, and I had a kind of one delay, and I mailed the customer straight away, and I was on the kind of speaking to them, and I said, look, I'm really sorry. I'll offer you a discount, because it's my mistake. I'll ship you this extra part out. I'll ship you the first stuff, and I'll ship you the other stuff afterwards. And he went, no, I'll wait.
Yeah.
And I said, well, because you're willing to wait, I'll give you something for free, because, I want to keep you. You're going to come back.
He's a customer for life now, I'll bet.
Well, if you tell them what time that you can fulfill something, there's not a problem. Only an asshole would hold it against you. And you don't need an asshole for a customer, quite frankly, because if they act like an asshole to you, they're an asshole to everybody else. So that's just my point. And if the people are much more understanding if you give them a timeline. Like I work in servicing loans. And when something needs done to their loans, they want to know when it will be done. That's all they want to know is when is it going to be done. And when I tell them a time, I'm very careful in what I say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's just business. But back to the model itself.
well, look, can I just say? I mean, look at this, the thread previously around the model that was being shipped by DHL and the damage that was occurred to that model. That's bad press if DHL can't sort their books out. It's, for me, it's like if somebody received a damaged kit from me, it's like I don't care. If I've got to ship another kit out to that customer, yeah, I'll deal with the situation and the problem afterwards. But fact is, that customer has paid good money for a kit, and I'm going to send that kit.
Oh, certainly. And it also matters on how you package your kit, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, Neil. I ordered a kit.
I'm not having that conversation again. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I just made a statement. I'm just saying that it matters how you pack things too. You can put a piece of paper in an envelope, that's fine, but you can't put something that's fragile in an envelope.
Yeah. So for me, the box, the way that people open it, the leaflet, the instruction stuff, that is part of the experience of buying a kit, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. So I am struggling to get my PowerPoint up and running because I got a few images and stuff here. So I will.
A corporate PowerPoint. Oh, I can't wait.
Hey, I'm not doing it anymore. I've given up. So I'll give you some images and things. But
okay, very good.
I got. What do you want to see?
Naked pictures of your models. Of your models. That doesn't sound right either. Of the resin models.
I tell you what I will. I'll open up the new kit that we're producing. I've got a 3D view of this.
Excellent. That was. We already know what the Stasis Pod looks like.
Yeah. So this is the medical console kit that we're producing. So I felt that it's great to have the Stasis Pod, but it needs to be in a diorama, right? And so one of the things that I was keen to do was to do a sort of medical design. This is not the complete model, but it's in 3D, so I can kind of move it around the screen. So give me a sec. Screen share now.
I just want to say hi to Craig. He just showed up just not too long ago, and Randall showed up. Okay. Hello, guys. Hello,
hey,
guys.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks, Craig.
Oh, okay, Neil.
You got this up and running? Can you see it?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, because I can't.
Your cursor is over a.
Yeah, hold on.
So this is this here.
Just so you can.
Here. I'm gonna zoom in.
There you go.
Okay. So this is part of the next kit. So it's going to be like a medical console. So there's 3 screens that are going to be attached to this. So there's a center portion. I'll pull up a picture in a minute. But what we've been doing is thinking about these side buckets. So this interior section here, we're going to be designing it in such a way that you've got multiple different interiors that you can fit inside it.
Nice.
And also, these, you can't really see it too well on the side here. This, this circular bit here is going to be a plate where if we've got the electronics kit, there's going to be a separate electronics kit that goes inside this. So the plate will come off and you'll be able to feed the cabling through the plate. So I'm thinking about all these things when we're designing these kits. It's probably going to be less parts. And if I just open up some of the photos, so this is the kit. So there's 3 panels on this, which are clear glass. we're going to have them lit from inside. And I'm looking at the way that we can kind of overlay the necessary graphics. I'm probably going to have them laser cut. Actually, we're talking about maybe laser cutting them or actually screen printing directly onto the panel. So that's something I'm doing at the moment as well.
Nice vinyl mask would be nice.
What, sorry?
Yeah.
A vinyl mask would be nice.
Was there any thought of doing photo etch?
I've spoken to the guys, certainly over at was it Photographics?
Paragraphs?
Paul?
Yeah, Paragraph. And discussions are underway.
Cool.
I won't say much more than that.
That's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to ask if you had thought of that, and you said yes.
Yeah. It's conversations there. I think that we will be getting to a point at the moment where it depends on how many aftermarket parts I can look at. You know, if we produce this medical console, we're going to have a doctor or a nurse figure for that. We've got the stasis pod, we've got a figure going inside, and we've got another figure under the way at the moment. Then there's obviously kind of, you know, whether we produce a base, some additional kind of equipment for it and things. I've been kind of looking around at 1/24 scale kind of stuff, and there's very little out in there. So, you know, if we want some medical boxes or whatever, we've got to produce it ourselves. There's no way that we can kind of utilize something out there. So, you know, part of what we're trying to do is make it into a diorama, but obviously recognize that people might want to build the medical console separately. So,
Sure.
Here's a stupid question, Neil. Have you thought of putting a chair in it?
Yeah, we've been looking at a kind of option where we can have one of the models sitting down at a chair at the moment. So there's kind of things.
Is there some sort of operator station for your medical equipment?
Console.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
they-
actually a pretty cool idea. I think it's a pretty cool idea. I think you're touching upon what you're telling me is that you're going to build pieces of a diorama and sell them separately.
Yeah, because I think, you know, you look at some stuff that people build dioramas, right? People don't always just build models on their own. You know, sometimes, you know, even if with the Millennium Falcon or you know, the Star Wars kits, you're kind of building a little base that is a diorama, you know, and I've seen less of that with the Star Trek kits. You know, most people just build a base with the logo on or the, you know, the graphic for the ship. But
yeah, I think the problem with the dioramas on Trek is that people want the characters, and then you get into likeness rights, and that's why you don't see a lot of figures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you know, if you look at, I've got an Iron Man sitting here. You know, they look at the base and the scenes, and people build their own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been looking at kind of, you know, can we vacuform or can we produce a base for it? So, you know, it allows somebody to build the models together. I mean, one of the things that we've thought about in terms of the electronics, so there's an electronics kit for this model, for the stasis pod, but we're doing a separate electronics kit for the medical console.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that kit is going to be standalone, so it'll light the medical kit and medical console independently. But we're going to have an additional cable that will link the two together.
That's what I was going to ask. I was getting ready to say that.
So we've thought about all of that. So you know, it's based on the Arduino. It's a little Pro Mini board, and it's going to allow us to kind of, we're going to have an Arduino in both, and one's going to just power the other one. So, you know, we're going to control the programming in both. But it does mean that people can take out the Arduino and reprogram it if they wanted to.
Well, actually having the console run the stasis pod.
That's the plan, actually. The power cable, the initial 5-volt power cable will go in the back of the medical console. There will be a separate cable then going to power the stasis pod. So when you actually do something on this, it'll do something over here.
Yeah, it adds another dimension to the model.
Exactly. So the stasis pod has got kind of 3 modes. We've got a little magnetic switch on there and got a key card, which we kind of so design these. So there's a little magnet here that's embedded inside the card. So even these, we did 4 different designs of these. So can you see that?
That's just neat. That's just neat.
Yeah. So it means that the magnet switch, you don't have to worry about drilling a hole on the outside of the kit to make the switches work, or putting it somewhere else. I know Kenny Conkling is doing it differently, but that's kind of not what we sold out the box. So the board's in the bottom. There's a little magnetic switch in the top. You run the switch over, and there's a couple of modes where the lights will go failure and things. And so when you put it into a failure mode on the kit, the medical console will reflect the status as well.
Those pesky end users, you can never trust them.
But one thing that some of the comments actually that I've had from the modeling magazines and some of the blogs, and I don't know if you've read them, but there's been a big comment that we haven't put a painting guide in the kit, right? Now I purposely didn't. Oh, Jack's gone. Look, I've upset him now.
He does that.
He covers them, guys.
Kind of a regular basis, so.
Yeah, no, that's what it was.
It's the curse of hosting these things. The host tends to drop out.
There he is.
So what I made sure on is when we produce the kit, I didn't want people to be felt that they're pressured into painting or making it in any style, right? You can paint it in a high-end science fiction type way. I'm looking. I've got loads of parts. That's the great thing about producing your own company.
Yeah.
Is I have lots of bad bits, right? So I'm going to produce a kind of a rusted one, completely broken down. I'm going to smash it.
With panels hanging out and wiring hanging out of empty open panels and stuff like that.
Exactly. So broken cables. I was thinking, how can I get a smoke machine in there to
little sparking here and there. Maybe a skeleton in the pod. Yeah. So I didn't want to restrict people into the way that they were going to build this, because I've had some comments, this particular TV genre or whatever. Yeah, Hostile Realms is ours, right? But you can put this in Star Trek and it will be in Star Trek. You can put it in Star Wars and it will be a Star Wars. So you don't
have the feel of both, actually. I got to congratulate you. It does have the feel of both.
Yeah.
You could do it as in very flat colors and do it Futurama.
Right, that's an idea. Right. I don't want that.
Yeah, it's such a great idea. It worked. It could be in Doctor Who. It could be in Jerry Anderson. It could be in 1999. It could be practically any universe you wanted to put it in.
Yeah, I've been thinking as well that Call of Cthulhu, having some sort of tentacled alien just bursting out the thing, and.
It could be in the Alien universe very easily.
Yeah. So I'm not restricting anyone on the way they paint things. I'm curious to see how people paint. And that's one thing I'm really excited about. So that's why we didn't put in the box.
Yeah, I think your illustration on the cover is enough of a painting guide. If they really, some people just want to be told. They just want to have something to go from. So I think. Even that is sufficient.
Exactly, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, if you can, there's your painting guide right there.
If you can build a resin kit in the first place, you're probably creative enough to be able to come up with a paint scheme.
Yeah.
Resin kits are not for beginners in the first place, so you're going to have a little experience and. Yeah, I like that idea though, because like nice and clean and pristine. It's a Star Trek universe, a little dirtier, and it's Star Wars universe, really filthy and greasy, and it's Alien universe. And it works in all of them. I love that.
Yeah. So at the moment, this is the one I'm doing. I'm kind of doing it mainly Alien, so I'm using militaristic colors.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the biggest comment we have had is on the seam here. You know, recognise that, and we're not making those similar issues on the CAD model for the next kit, because I know that this is going to be a little bit of a hard one to fix this seam down here on the front here. And you know, I recognise that. We've had a lot of feedback about it. For me to go back to the original 3D model and start all over again is going to be too expensive. So I'm not doing it for now, but I know for the next kit I'm not making those kind of same challenges for the modelers. So we're going to try and hide the seams as best as we can. But yeah.
There's nothing stopping you from running a detailed piece of trim down the center and covering it with that.
Exactly. That's been the only comment, and not even a negative comment. That's been the only comment I've heard about it, about that kit. Is well, there is kind of a drastic seam on it, but it's not hard to take care of, and that, you know, that's what they always say. So you know, it's a big deal. You know, it's part of the genre. I love that idea of putting a combination of filling in certain places and putting trim over it.
That's a good idea, actually. I haven't thought about that.
As long as the pieces fit together well, and I think the only thing that would screw that model up is if the door didn't fit right. But other than that, everything else is fixable.
Yeah.
So you know, we're kind of conscious that when the door does go on, you know, I'm doing the door open, but the door can be closed, and you know, we make sure that it does fit together. So hopefully goes together, and I'm going to not prove myself wrong. So yeah, there we are. I've fitted the door already. So can't get it out now, but it's such a good fit.
It worked in rehearsal.
It worked in rehearsal, yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of I've been working as much as I can on it. I mean, it's hard when you've got other commitments, but you know, when you're trying to put the second kit together, you're still doing customers and sales and things. It's hard to get on the bench, but I'm enjoying what other people are doing with it. You know, I'm looking forward to some of the customers. We're gonna put a gallery section up on the website so that eventually we can kind of show off some people's builds and things.
Oh, you can refer your painting guide to that.
Yeah. Well, exactly. That's what we want to do. Yeah. You know, I think, you know, Jack as well. I mean, I'll mention the fact that we initially launched a Kickstarter campaign for this, which I must admit didn't go very well at all. I knew that. I wasn't expecting to fund it through the project. I already had the money set aside for this whole thing. But I was curious to use the campaign to see, you know, how successful it was going to be in terms of the pre-sales, you know, how popular it's going to be. And I was quite disappointed at the feedback and the results from it. But actually, since it's been launched and since we've been getting kind of, you know, page time or whatever on people's websites and blogs and things, I've kind of forgotten that thing now. You know, it worked at the time, and to say, you know, it was all kind of paid for it and put the money aside for it. But Craig and I have chatted and things. He knows how much, you know, I've kind of invested in this in both time and money. And, you know, it is my baby at the moment. I'm kind of excited every time I make a sale. Last been a year, it's like, oh God, I've got to send out another 10 boxes. You know, that'll be different. But you know, at the moment, I'm really excited about it, and I want my passion in these kits. And, you know, as I say, that's why I've been surprised at the feedback on the survey.
Yeah, I think it certainly shows that your passion there it is. It does show. It does show. And whatever we can do as a community, we will be happy to do that. Especially buy your kits. I think that's how we can help you. Is that right? We can help you by buying your kits?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to mention that. You know.
No, seriously. I have. Neil was gracious enough, and I'm going to be doing a video from a very particular point of view. I'll tell you what it is. I was kind of not telling Neil earlier, but I'm getting the feedback from someone. It's kind of annoying. I'm sorry. My point of view is I've never built a resin kit.
Oh. So hopefully my help on resin kit going to help, is it?
Yes, it's going to be from a very, how should we say, amateurish point of view. I've never built one, and I'm going to certainly make mistakes. So.
Well, use canopy glue on the clear parts.
Oh, certainly. Well, that I know that. But I mean, having worked with resin and painting it, I know painting it is very particular. Gluing it together is very particular. The order in which, in fact, I looked at the instructions. You even had instructions. Lou is right. Your support material for your kit is actually quite astonishing. I know, and it shows that you put a lot of work into it. Your electronics, your instructions, your parts, everything. Now, what I want you to do is build it for me too. But it's your support material is good, especially the instructions.
Well, as I say, I mean, we kind of actually the instructions went through quite a few versions before we actually got it to a compatible, and it was a, you know. I'm pulling it up now. Let me do a screen share of it now.
Randall, could you mute yourself? I think you're feeding back.
Myself? Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, there.
Upside down.
Turn it around.
I've been building it all wrong.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I wonder why it hung from the ceiling.
How more clear can you get than that? And I don't even have to read Japanese.
Well, as long as the pictures are in English, you're fine.
Well, yes. It looks like a Japanese instruction, but it doesn't have Japanese instructions. That's what I love about it. It's awesome.
Be careful, Jack. That will be British English. So.
Oh. That's right. Armor is spelt with a U.
I wasn't having a go at the British English.
Yeah, but those instructions are simply amazing. They're very clear, concise. I don't know how else you can make it more obvious to build a resin kit. Look, he's got a picture of all the parts. He's got how the parts go together, and the final stages, and also where the electronics, of course, go to. I'm really looking forward to doing it, but with the fact that I got to videotape my build, that makes it more difficult. My camera is messing up, I think. It's not transferring to my computer. I don't know why, but I'll figure it out, and I'll get one up from the point of view from somebody who's never done and never even touched a resin kit.
Virgin modeler.
Virgin modeler.
You're gonna pop your resin cherry.
There.
Can I just say that happen again? The material that we chose is as close as we can to get it to a plastic material as possible. It's not, you know, it is resin, and you do need different glues, but you know, it hasn't got some of the risks associated with some of the resin materials out there. So it's not as hazardous, although you know, it can be quite dangerous to use kind of wet and dry and use it wet. But the dust is not as dangerous on this particular type of material, but it can be risky. So, you know, but it does take paint really quickly. I mean, as soon as you clean it and put primer on it, I've had no issues with it at all.
Do you have any suggestions about paint?
I'm using just standard Tamiya acrylics.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah, I've got some old clads as well for some of the metallic, but no, I'm just using standard acrylic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. That satisfies me. I can paint it any time of the year.
Yeah, use car primer on the base and then standard acrylics to the rest.
Yeah.
You recommend washing the parts first?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We've included that in the instructions. So, but I only washed it in soap and water. I used a toothbrush on some bits, but you know, I didn't use anything like, you know, some other kits need.
Right.
Jack, don't wash the decals.
Yeah, that's the only bit that I hate actually, is applying decals. So.
Washing decals, huh?
That's
It's
been
double worse.
Oh my god.
So, does anyone have anything else that they have for Neil? I told him we're going to pull him over the coals, and we're almost there.
Well, I'll just say after seeing the instructions that this car guy wants to build this model now. That was impressive.
Well,
You have
just have the instructions.
You can put wheels on it. You can put wheels on it.
Yeah, I can do anything I want, I guess.
The mobile stuff.
The insides of it. When am I going to see the outside of it?
Couple of wheels, you know.
Yeah, pop some wheels on the bottom of it. It's mobile.
Yeah.
Well, but
And I'll paint it in
leads me
L-clad
to-
candies and.
But no, this leads me to what you have on your website, though, is that you have a survey asking everybody what's next. Hey, what about a car in that in the hostile realms? That's not such a bad idea.
But we have. I want to do some land vehicles.
Yes.
So I want to do kind of ground-based kind of the APC type vehicles for the combat stuff. Yeah, but that's all on there. Ground-based vehicles is something I want to do.
Cool.
There you go. He's trying to satiate the car modeler as well as the armor modeler.
I was about to say, you're about to get every armor modeler excited watching that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that would be fun.
It's been surprising. I've had so much feedback, and it's been really positive about people wanting either larger scale. They want this, they want that. I can't service every customer, right? So, we've only got to.
Eventually, you're going to have a design team, and you're going to have a production team. You're going to have a sales team. You're going to be just like Fine Molds and I'm not going to say AMT. I don't want to compare you to AMT.
That's okay. Fine Molds just got it.
Oswego, how's that?
That's really what I want. Is I don't want to be, I'm doing this for personal reasons as well, right? I sit doing IT consultancy. I get well paid for it, but it's boring, right?
Yeah.
I want to be doing this. I want to be, spending time with my kids, not stuck in an office with people, right? So I want to, this is what I love, and this is one of the reasons why I kind of did Wild House in the beginning.
Well, you can tell you love it in the quality of the product. It's definitely there.
Keep calm, enjoy stasis.
We really have no choice, right?
You have no shame. I love it.
I'm a huge t-shirt fan. I need it.
I can wear mine, all right?
When will the t-shirt be
And on the
available?
back have the Wild House logo. Yes, absolutely. I'd wear it
What was that,
around.
Lou?
When will the t-shirts be available on your site?
Yeah.
They are. Yeah. Well, actually, we're using a company called Redbubble, but they're on the e-store now. I actually uploaded them yesterday. So that if you scroll down to the product, you're at the bottom.
T-shirts, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Where is it?
The residual sales are probably going to do you more business than the kits themselves.
Yeah. We got loads of different T-shirts, and I'm looking at what else. You can kind of iPad cases and.
Card case in the shape of the Jesus chamber.
Hey, I don't care. I'll sell my new son if he's gonna.
I was waiting for you to say that.
No, he's good. He's precious.
I think you have to consult with your wife. That's for sure.
Now, this is his legacy, right? I wanted him to kind of when he's older, be building these things with me.
Oh, warn you, there's a waiting list.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. You're saying that you do not recommend snorting the resin dust.
Oh yeah, definitely not. I mean, it's still dangerous. I mean, we've used the best and the best material we could find, but it's still resin. So yeah, exactly.
Aries is showing use a respirator or a at least a dust mask, and I agree.
To do what?
when sanding
Sandy.
resin, the dust that comes off, a lot of it falls down, but a lot of it floats up into the air.
Yeah.
And you will definitely know it after a while when you start to get a headache and you're all clogged up. It happens.
Yeah.
I learned that, unfortunately, from personal experience and a rather cheap model that I don't know what they used for resin, but I swear they had cyanide mixed in with it because I was sick as a dog for a good day after working with it.
I think
I mean,
it's the
that's
same.
why we're including in every box. We're including a kind of a leaflet that gives you kind of all the warning instructions about using resin. Because to be serious here, Jay, you're right. I mean, there is a real concern with inhaling this stuff. So yeah, Jack, wear a mask.
Okay, I like drugs.
Once you got the first primer coats on and everything, you're fine. But when you're first starting to sand it down.
Good that you said something I wasn't not even aware. But then again, I wasn't even thinking about sanding it because your parts are so smooth. I said that wrong. I sounded dirty. Your parts are smooth.
Everything you say sounds dirty, Jack.
I
No,
must admit,
the kit
when you
is so
clean
well.
up some of the flashing bits.
No, it's so well detailed. If anything, there might be a little scrape on the seams, where the seams of the mold was, and stuff like that. I don't see any pervasive reason to sand it with stick.
No. And that is why we've gone and chosen a professional company to produce the molds for us.
Yeah.
If
Sure.
we produced those molds, they wouldn't be as good. And I've got resin kits here, and they're poor. I'm not going to name names, but they're not the best quality because they've been produced in a garage.
I like that. It's my favorite fume.
Oh, acetone. Ooh.
Yeah. No, actually, it's important that if the dust is going to make you very ill and possibly be very hazardous, that is an important thing to tell your customers. But you made a kit that, really doesn't need sanding, quite honestly.
That's fine, and I'm very glad to hear that. It's just I think it needs to be put out there though because let's be honest, Neil's not the only person that makes resin kits, and there are people out like me, for example, who probably have quite a few resin kits they've purchased in the past. They just haven't built yet, and so knowing the safety precautions is a real good idea.
Mhm.
But I'm on the base of this one. You probably can't see, but I'm drilling extra holes because I want to run some external wiring and things that you talked about. So drilling the holes, you just got to be so careful about the pieces that come off. Really.
I mean, it's the same rules apply as if you're working with in a body shop with body fillers or fiberglass. It's the same materials.
Yeah.
Got to be careful. Yeah.
But yeah, we're being really careful about everything. We're just trying to inform our customers as much as possible. But I'm really enjoying this. For me, it's been a great. I mean, started this process in October last year, and so to get a first kit out in around about 6 months.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
That's really good.
That's actually very good.
You just got to keep the momentum up. People are asking us for more stuff, and it's hard to keep.
Something though, just take your time and schedule yourself and tell people when you're going to have a kit released. And call it a day. They're just going to have to wait.
Yeah. Because the quality is what's important.
The quality is what's important, and if the people know time frames, they're much more forgiving. We were talking about that earlier, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's taken a while to get the 70 mil figure. We had that sculpted and made by a professional guy in Scotland, and we've waited 3 weeks already for the samples. I was expecting the samples yesterday. They're coming on Monday, so I haven't got the actual samples. But even if I send the samples, it's still going to be quite a few weeks before I get the production ones. So.
How did you do again? No.
Oh, good. Let's do some domestic spying here.
Oh, jeez.
You're getting in trouble, Craig.
We're always all getting in trouble. Models.
So does anybody have anything else to say to Neil?
Yeah, I wanted to say I think it's fantastic what he's done in such like a short period of time. I mean, it's quite remarkable, and I've seen all the videos of the kit and that, and to be honest, I didn't think it was for me, but after what I've heard today, I am so going to be a customer because I finally have a use for this little guy.
Yay!
You've inspired me. I've got a few of these little guys, and
Hey.
a diorama planned in my head already. I've started drawing things, 100%. Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Excellent.
Well, as I say, I mean, we have a through Amazing Plastics. There is a 10% discount anyway. So, Jack, I can't remember the. I'll give you the discount code anyway. So there's 10% out from our store. But actually, if everybody holds on, I am, and this is exclusive. I haven't mentioned this anywhere yet. But from the end of the month, we're going to be running kind of a summer sale. So. There's going to be a massive discount on the stuff over summer, so wait a few weeks and you'll be able to get one for a lot cheaper than it is right now.
Yes, and we're also working on some sort of beginnings of a U.S. distribution. Isn't that right?
That's right. Yeah, Jack and I have been kind of having a chat about how we can kind of look at reducing down the dollar exchange rate right now and getting some kits out to the U.S.
Yep, so we'll try to get that started and work our way up from there. I'm very excited that I can start something with you from the ground up because it's hard for maybe the bigger guys to jump in because you don't have enough merchandise depth, but certainly I will try to get AP on board and get our members to participate in the store. I'm not sure where Richard is. If Richard, you're watching. Probably not. It's probably like 5 in the morning in Canada. So.
It's 7 a.m. for him.
7 a.m. for him? Well, that doesn't matter. It's usually 5 in the morning for him anyway, no matter what time.
At 4 in the afternoon.
It's 5 a.m. in Alberta.
We've been talking for an hour.
That runs slower in Canada.
We've been talking an hour. My camera's pretty blurry, it looks like. But anyway, we've been talking an hour with Neil Wooding, and he is the gentleman a serious UK British gentleman who has started a company called Wild House Models, and he created an entirely new universe called Hostile Realms. His Stasis Pod is for sale now, and we are going to have some U.S. distributorship soon. Don't know what time frame, but we will. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. Andy, thanks. And Aries, thank you so much for stopping by as well. And you'll get your Hostile Realms car soon enough, I'm sure.
I build armor.
And armor.
Yeah.
And Craig,
Send me a sketches.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And Craig, thanks for thank you for joining us as well. And Jay, thank you for your participation as well. We'll be talking more about the store and Neil as well in our hangouts together. And of course, Lou, whatever you add is always from the standpoint you've already done this.
Well, glad I'm useful for something.
Yes, you are. And Phil, thank you for stopping by too. It's early in the morning, and we're working dogs, and we're tired as all heck Saturday morning. I know how it feels.
No problem.
And of course, Randall, thank you for joining us as well. And Neil, you're the last one to thank. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for telling all about your passion and Wild House models.
Thank you. I just want to say as well, thanks guys for the questions, because when you're doing this in isolation, sometimes it's great to hear positive as well as negative feedback. But I appreciate your candid questions today.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And if you ever need the morale boost, you can always join us on a private hangout. You know that. You just got to find out when we're on. And if you want to be on, we'll make an attempt to be on with you. Just the same, So you have a lot of morale support here. That's for sure.
Appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for watching Amazing Plastics, special Across the Pond edition about Wild House models. And without the vibrant community that AP represents, we wouldn't be having this show. And I think even Neil wouldn't have an outlet to have his passion be seen. Thank you all for joining us. Next time, keep on modeling and be safe with Resin Dust. Bye.